Charlie put out a video. Moist Critical put out a video about the Digital Circus, but do you think he would post anything spoilery? I don't think he would he? We can watch this video then. He's talking about the whole situation with gooseworx and stuff. I'm actually curious about this topic.
Trying to sleep for a couple of hours, and it's been an unsuccessful endeavor, so decided I'd come over here and start blabbering about something that I still find to be pretty wacky. The Amazing Digital Circus drama that's been stirring and bubbling over. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if this bout of insomnia ties back into that. Maybe there's a ne'er-do-well in the Amazing Digital Circus fandom that's kidnapped the Sandman, preventing him from paying me a visit and making me tired. If so, dubious. Well played. But what if I told you that Tung Sahur's pregnant? We'll see. Now, being fully open and honest here, cheeks fully spread, I am not the biggest fan of the Amazing Digital Circus. I understand why people like it so much. I get it. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not my favorite glitch production. Now, I know that that sounds like blasphemy. I wasn't aware of just how rabid the fandom was until I learned about this. I still don't believe it's as, like, aggressively toxic as a lot of people paint it as, but I'm starting to see why it has a bit of a bad reputation. AOL has an article. That's great. AOL. America Online has got a nice little write-up about it. Why did that happen? Why does that keep happening? Unfortunately, leaked footage of the entire film and its Brazilian dub have emerged online the past few days. The finale to the web series has faced controversy.
I feel so bad for gooseworx is having to like deal with that backlash of people like leaking it, and like to have all your work and like just be put down to a leak, and then people are like canceling their tickets and stuff. It's like, unironically, leave Goose alone.
For not having a simultaneous release in theaters and on YouTube and Netflix, though this timed release schedule is crucial for bringing fans who would normally watch the series on the internet into seats at the cinema. Responds to the leaks on Blue Sky, writing, I haven't seen what the leaks even are, but I'm going to guess probably not. And since deleted...
No, it still is AOL. It's America Online. You've got mail, you know? That old meme. That was the old dial-up service, and just like general... It's just a general website, like news articles and stuff.
Post where she replies, who cares? Animator later apologized on the platform, stating, I know people are upset with my response, which is fine, but I kind of just wanted to make a cartoon, and it ended up being way more trouble than it's worth. Oh man, not a fan of what the fan base has become, it sounds like. Admits that she can't keep my heart in this thing anymore, and it's gotten too much bigger than me, and I probably shouldn't be the figurehead of it. That's sad. The entire episode got uploaded on Reddit 3 days ago. Yeah, everything leaks now. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately. I don't see what's wrong with her response. Who cares? I don't see what's so bad about that. I don't know why people be upset. It happens. It was out of her control. All she can do now is just be like, alright, there it is. From what I understand, that's the whole thing. So, it leaked online, which people were upset about, but a not small number of people weren't upset about, like, the leakers doing it. They were upset at the creator for her attitude around it, which that boggles my noodle, because her attitude, I think, is fine.
Wait, people are upset because she didn't care?
To just be like, okay, you know what? Who cares? You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube now. Like, I think that's far more respectable than had she just, you know, flipped the table over and started fee-fi-fo-fumming around all upset and angry about it. Like, I really don't see why that would be, like, a controversial stance from her. Maybe it was the next part where it seems like she's pretty tired of the fan base that her work has accumulated. And I feel like she's totally fine to have that perspective, especially considering that her biggest work has now leaked, and she's getting attacked for it by the fan base. Fucking piranhas eating her alive over something she has no control over and probably isn't super thrilled about, considering it is a direct impact on her and her work. Sports fans, you know, maybe I need to be Baker acted. Perhaps what I'm about to say is just a little wacky, but to me, it seems totally understandable why she feels the way she does about it and, like, wanting to move on from it going forward. Dolan Darkus made a video on it.
when you create something like that and you have like an absolute cult following behind it, that's fucking insane. Like having to deal with because you can either lean into it and like lead the cult, or you can like push against it and then the cult eats you alive. So I can kind of understand why Goose was like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And I remember her saying like she said something along the lines of, I really hope that people understood where I was going with the show, because people had already started seeing the leaks and stuff and people were mad about the ending.
Is there more to it than just this? Let me see.
Just
This is a wow. There's a long slop from Dolan. A 3-minute sloparoo? Well, okay, so how does it go so deep? I don't understand. Enlighten me, Dolan.
Flop Live. The Amazing Digital Circus situation is getting out of hand. If you aren't caught up, basically the final episode is coming out soon and is meant to come to cinemas. Well, somehow the episode ended up leaking early online in a Brazilian dub, and when the creator of the show, gooseworx, was told about this, they initially said the leaks probably weren't real, and then when they were told they were definitely real, they said, who cares? This, of course, caused a meltdown amongst the fanbase, with a lot of people...
I kind of feel like I would have the same reaction if like that your fan base is completely rabid. Like, oh well, like what can you do? Like it got leaked. Like what can you do? There's no amount of damage control you can do. It's on the internet now. So like, why should she care?
saying she deserved to have it leak, and she shouldn't be acting
What?
this way about a show that she created.
I love that. You shouldn't be acting this way about the thing I like that you made. I know better than you know. Bro, it's her fucking show, man. Again, I see no problem with her just reacting that way. It was out of her control. The shit leaked. I think it's a lot better than, raising up arms like, all right, guys, we gotta go over fucking war. It's scorched earth time. I can't believe it. Fuck everyone. We're coming for scalps now. I think that's much better and much more respectable. To me, that is handling it with grace. Just like, okay, you know what? Is what it is, I guess. I don't see the problem.
Other tweets saying things.
Well, the thing is people don't seem to understand that she doesn't actually have a lot of control over it. She didn't even know the thing was coming to theaters. That was Glitch's like complete decision. She just made the show. She made the show. She made the characters. She made the story. And that's all she did. And like people seem to think that she's the one who's like putting them out at certain times or made the plans for the theaters and stuff like that. That was all Glitch. But no one's going after Glitch. They're only going after Goose. And you want to know why? People are going to hate me for saying this, but I'm pretty sure it's because she's trans.
Things like gooseworx is racist, into incest, a bad writer, and overall a corny and insufferable person. I couldn't care less about the show leaking. Now she did end up deleting her response and made a follow-up response saying, I know people are upset with my response, which is fine, but I kind of just wanted to make a cartoon, and it's ended up being way more trouble than it's worth. I really just can't keep my heart in this thing anymore. It's gotten too much bigger than me, and I probably shouldn't be the figurehead of it. It's also worth noting that the Amazing Digital Circus fanbase is probably one of the worst fan bases on the internet right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dolan, let's not get carried away. I don't know too much about like the fan base for it, to be honest. But that
It's pretty awful.
baloney. I'm gonna tell you right now, there ain't no way that's true. No, there's no way. Oh, nope. I'm shutting that shit down. There is
He doesn't know.
no shot.
Is probably the reason gooseworx no longer seems to care that much about the show. One tweet with 50,000 likes saying, the Amazing Digital Circus got leaked.
I like how Dolan right here is basically repeating what I just said about the fact that she realizes that the fan base is very rabid and that's the reason she doesn't care.
And instead of getting mad at the leakers, we're mad at gooseworx. One with 60,000 likes saying Goose's apathy is 1,000% justified. They did everything they could to prevent this, got harassed non-stop.
So these are very popular. It seems like the sentiment is like, hey, I think she's in the right for just expressing that. I think it's fine. So is it just like it seems like it's a small piece that's mad at her for just being like, who cares? How naive I was.
I like how I just called it.
It's not that small of a piece. There, I decided to do a little bit of looking around. A lot of people in the community there for the
He knows, chat. Hold on. Just this fucking meme right here. Hold on.
Amazing Digital
Just this meme right here. Now he knows. He knows.
Circus were livid. And I mean, like, actually steaming. There was already, like, drama around this because it going to theaters already made people upset, believing that it should have continued to stay free on YouTube because all the other episodes were, and by going to theaters, they were now being, you know, excommunicado from experiencing the finale.
What, something that people don't understand is a small indie animation studio being able to release their like final production or even a full production in theaters is such a big fucking deal. I don't know why people are acting like this isn't a big deal. It's not. It's like, it's amazing. And it was only, what, 2 weeks before? 2 weeks before. You're telling me people can't wait 2 weeks? I just think, like, people blow this out of proportion. But it's such a good thing for a small indie animation studio to be able to put their works into theaters. It's fucking insane.
Unless they paid money, or maybe their theater wasn't showing it. And I yapped about that a little bit when it was going on. I can't remember how long it's in theaters for prior to going free to YouTube, but it is going to end up free on YouTube. It's just finishing it with a big spectacle is something they believed was worthwhile, especially considering they have done many episodes completely.
It's been, like, the ending has been leaked for multiple days, and I still have not seen anything about it. So, like, obviously people are actually gatekeeping the information rather well.
For free on YouTube, and this is a good way for them to try and make some money back on what is undoubtedly a pretty expensive production for them. So I think it makes sense. I think the exclusivity in theaters was kind of long, which was one of the big complaints. I don't remember how long, but anyway, there was already like a lot of drama around it for that. So when this happened, a lot of people were saying that this is karma, this is justifiable revenge, she deserves it for putting it in theaters, that kind of thing, which I'm going to speculate she probably wasn't the one that was trying to lobby for it in theaters.
Didn't I just say that? I just said that. I literally just said that. She even said that she had no control over it, like, whatsoever, and people are fucking so stupid.
I think that decision was also probably out of her hands, but that's just me having a hunch, you know, that's just speculation. But anyway, the point I'm making is, it is not.
Listen, I don't pre-watch, I'm just, like, chronically online, so I just know things. I know things, and I drink, what do I drink? I drink coffee. I drink coffee and I know things.
A small number of people that are expressing their anger about basically everything in regards to the finale to the Amazing Digital Circus. It's a pretty rowdy, pretty sizable bunch for a myriad of different reasons. Now,
They're fucking insane. They're just, that's it. They're insane.
I don't know anything about the creator, so like all the stuff that they were saying about them personally, I have no fucking clue about any of that. All I know is what's available in regards to like the theater stuff when that was going on, and now this with like the leaks and how she responded to it. And I'll scream it from the mountaintops, the way she responded to the leaks I think is totally fine. There was nothing wrong with just taking the approach of, you know what, there's nothing I can do about it, so you know, who cares?
It happened anyway. This fandom genuinely deserves nothing. Another saying how gooseworx last few posts on social media were basically her saying she'd been pulling all-nighters to make the finale look as perfect as possible, just for it to get leaked and a bunch of people saying it either sucked or celebrating its downfall. And this is the sort of people we're dealing with. This person complaining that
I would figure that she's probably more upset about people saying that the ending sucked rather than it getting leaked.
gooseworx used a song by a black man covered by a white man in the ending of her show, attaching a video of people chanting white power. They then told in the replies to not spread misinformation, as the song was actually covered by an Asian man, not white.
What is
and
happening?
Their response is to say, sorry for the misinfo, but whatever, the tweet still stands.
That is like, that's peak Twitter right there, chat. That's literally peak Twitter. I've seen that happen so much, like so much. I remember when Yara was dealing with like the misinformation from the fake Discord screenshots, and the person finally got proved wrong, and they accepted they were wrong, and they were like, well, my tweet has impressions, so I'm not going to delete it. That's literally just how Twitter is. They don't care about the truth. They only care about engagement. They only care about impressions. They only care about followers and numbers, and they don't care about anything else. They don't care that they're wrong. They only care about the engagement.
Listen, guys, it was incredibly wrong. But I'm still mad. Fuck you.
No, I don't think the tweet still stands at all.
It's complete pandemonium out there. It's devolving into just straight gobbledygook. Like that for
Not the gobbledygook.
For example, hey, you're wrong about this. I don't care. I need something to be mad about, so I'm staying mad. Fuck you. It's just reaching absurd levels. Like, it's just actual wackiness out the wazoo. And what's always really interesting to me is that the biggest fans of something are the ones that want to see it fail the most. And I don't know why that happens. It's such an odd phenomenon that stretches across so many things. But like here, a lot of the tweets and stuff that were being made about it, and a lot of the people that were really upset.
It's because people are so negative, like, in their real lives, so they think that nothing can go right because, their life isn't going good. At least I think that's the most simple explanation of why people want to see things fail.
And saying like, oh, it's complete dog shit. This is all just fucking trash. She should be embarrassed and ashamed. I knew it was going to have a terrible ending. I knew it was going to suck. And like celebrating its downfall, those same people have made their entire identity around being a fan of this show. So why are they so thrilled and filled with jubilation over like this leak and everything going on with it? Why? And it's not exclusive to just this community around this property. It's kind of like anything that develops a really big fan base. There are no bigger haters than the fans of these shows. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't compute. I don't see why, if the thing you like is getting successful, it makes you upset. You would rather see it fail. And then like are constantly rooting for its demise. The thing you really like, by the way. I don't get it.
This is the sort of people that we're dealing with, just absolute morons. And I think this tweet probably sums up the whole situation, saying gooseworx is a victim of the childish, infectious rot that is internet fandom culture, an entitled, bratty, mentally deficient, and emotionally subpar group of adult consumers that eat and eat and eat and throw a tantrum because they choked on.
This person sounds like a fucking chud. This person sounds like a right-winger. This is what right-wingers sound like. This is what chuds sound like. This is an incel. This is someone who has nothing going in their life. They're pathetic.
Their content.
Damn, that was deep.
I think another problem is that the loudest people in the fandom are all like 13 years old. And someone dug up this old tweet from gooseworx 3 years ago saying, when this circus show comes out, I'm going to have to ask all of you to sign a waiver stating that you'll be a good fandom and not a horrendously vicious, annoying one.
Rough.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to make the show bad on purpose.
I think she jinxed herself. I think gooseworx might have like shot herself in the foot by making that tweet.
Well, I think she has the opportunity to do one of the funniest things possible. Thanks for slopping by.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know enough about the fandom. I just don't believe the statement that they're like the worst fandom there is right now. I can't imagine that.
This is how I am on that. I could care less how many subs, views, follows, likes, retweets, or impressions a person gets. If a person is a piece of shit, they're a piece of shit. But a smaller person who genuinely posts, does good, not for the sake of money or clout, I'm following the smaller person. That's how I am too. I don't really tend to follow a lot of bigger creators because you can kind of tell that they engagement farm a lot more. And I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes I do engagement farm, but for the most part, I'm just kind of a shit poster. I just like shit post a lot. And sometimes I'm just mean to bigots. And I've always like fallen behind that philosophy of like people don't deserve your respect unless they show that they are deserving of respect.
So many fandoms have just been trash lately. Okay, that's recency bias. It has been this way since like the beginning of the internet. When a ton of people flock to something and it grows to a certain level of success, it's always going to end in rot eventually. It's just a numbers game. There's going to be weirdos that get there. There's going to be freaks that get there. It happens to literally anything that gets to a certain level. It's not exclusive to just the current climate, though I will agree that in the current climate, it's kind of a competition to see who can be like the most rabid, loyal worshiper of property. Like, you want to be the biggest fan ever, like you dedicate your life to it, they make it like a sport. I get that. But it's not like the actual fandom around things is new and the behavior is new. It has been there for so long. Which mainstream fandom do you believe is the most toxic fandom out there? Ooh, that's a really interesting question. Oh, that's a really good question.
That is a good question. Which fandom do you think's the worst? I think Digital Circus is pretty fucking bad, but it's not by far the worst. It can be one of the worst. League of Legends, that's a good one. I can see that. I think Sonic, VTuber space. Well, VTuber space kind of encapsulates a lot of people, so I don't think that really works. My Hero Academia, with how grown adults keep sexualizing children. We're talking about just like straight up a fandom that's just extremely toxic and gatekeepy and just like not very pleasant to be around. Anime in general, yeah. I was gonna say like free run, but unfortunately, like I love free run and I'm part of the fandom, but there's very bad parts of the fandom that I'm pretty sure everyone's aware of. Furry's pretty bad. Yeah, I think furries are pretty toxic. The free run, Dragon Ball. I'm trying to think. Yeah, like other animes I've watched, like One Piece, like their fandom's actually like it's the same thing. Like there's a lot of good people who watch it, but there's also some really stupid people that don't understand like the whole core thing about fighting fascism is. Give a list. Free run verges on both sides. The only side of the fandom is the ones that can't understand the medium. Pretty much all fandoms have their bad apples. Yeah, we could just like avoid anime. We're talking about like just like fandoms when it comes to like niche shows. I think Digital Circus really does take the cake when it comes to like lately. I can't think of any other ones.
So many good options, especially when it comes to anime or things like Genshin Impact, like gacha communities. There are so many like banger options. It actually might be Snyder Cult. It actually genuinely might be the Snyder Cult. They go ballistic. There was also that one Snyder Cult member who literally stalked people at like conventions and stuff if they talked shit about like the Snyderverse. It might be them. They are super weird. That fandom moved on to Gachi Akata and are now harassing that author. True, Dankin. Wait, that's so true. Well, I don't know about it being the My Hero community that moved to Gachi Akata. But the Gachi Akata fans, they are vicious to the author. It's like herself. It's crazy.
Oh, that's a very very unique output. Is like people who are very toxic to the author of like they're so toxic that they're toxic to the author. I can't even compare that one.
Easy. They are just so mean to her, telling her how she should write it, what her.
The thing is Harry Potter deserves people being toxic to J.K. Rowling, so that like she deserves the hate.
Story actually is and should be. It's fucking gross. Yeah, that's a good one actually. I didn't think of that.
All right, you guys, you do the usual thing. You just go like it and shit. I love Charlie. Charlie's such a good person. I love Charlie.
She's pink and she's glowing. Her hair stays flowing and she drops hot takes like she just don't care. Your precious lady is about to arrive. Wouldn't advise getting on her bad side. Don't know if she has talent, but she just might. Everybody questioning who the best druid around is. Like who is? It's the pretty pink icon. Whooith.